That's a mob rule. It's never great. 3 or less is our board. Let's see who's getting it. Oh, we might crack the Burnished Heart on too. That's all the creatures on board. Today on Commander Replay, we kick off the Midnight Hunt for Red October Week with Tovolar Werewolf Tribal. Next on Commander Replay. I want to thank my awesome Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome. If you want to help support the channel and vote on which decks I play next, feel free to check out my Patreon, link below. Welcome back, everyone. Playing some Tovolar Dire Overlord today. Pretty excited about this one. Let's take a look at this opener. We've got a couple lands. Oracle of Moldiah, Duskwatch Recruiter. Yeah, it seems pretty good to me. Let's keep. So initially, when Tovolar was spoiled, I thought, I'm like, it's cool. It's a werewolf commander, but it's a little boring. Card draw is a little too easy, but it does give you the transform mechanic. But when I started building this deck, I realized that I have a lot of these werewolves sitting in a binder from the original Innistrad block. So I'm actually pretty excited about this, and if all goes well, I may consider building this deck in paper. But we will see what happens, and pretty excited to check this one out. We catch a Sage of Ancient Lore off the top. We'll play the Myriad Landscape first, and we'll pass like that. Opponent's going to call our Myriad Landscape. Brings it back to our turn. There's a Gaia Reach Sanitarium, a card that I included solely for flavor reasons, but it's a good card nonetheless. Let's go ahead and play the Forest right here. We'll get the Duskwatch Recruiter into play. Decent likelihood that it will flip over, and cost reduction on our creatures is not a bad thing. Generally, most of the time, the front side is a little bit better, but in the situation we're in right now, backside doesn't look too bad. Would actually speed us up quite a bit, I think. We could theoretically get to Oracle of Moldiah next turn if it flips. So let's take a read of our commander. It's Tovolar Dire Overlord. It's a 3-mana 3/3. It says, whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 3 or more wolves or werewolves, it becomes night. Then transform any number of human werewolves you control. Pretty cool. You get to control day and night and control the flipping of your werewolves, which is pretty cool. There's a couple werewolves that do stuff upon flipping, and Huntmaster of the Fells is one that comes to mind. Triggering that repeatedly seems like a pretty good time, should that come up. So on the backside we have, whenever a wolf or werewolf you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So repeating the ability from the front side, which is cool, and they've done that with a lot of the wolves in this Innistrad block. But also, X red-green, target werewolf you control gets +X/+0 and trample until end of turn. Essentially Kessig Wolf Run, also on your commander. There's a lot of words. A lot of words on that commander. Well, that's unfortunate. Opponent cast 2 spells on their turn, and even though we had flipped into Krallenlord Howler, we're going to end up flipping back to the Duskwatch Recruiter right here, so that's a little disappointing. There's a Blasphemous Act. What do we do right here? Actually, right here is probably Gaia Reach Sanitarium, crack the Myriad Landscape, get some red. We could poke someone. I'm going to poke the Equipment deck. Equipment decks are scary. Although, maybe we should have left that back with Grenzo. Grenzo was a headache. And we flip again. Hopefully we don't get unflipped again. Oh, you know what we could do next turn? We can get this Wolf Caller's Howl into play, and because it's early in the game, opponents still have a lot of cards in hand, so we could actually get a pretty good number of wolves, I think. Maybe we'll go for that, even though our commander is very cool too, but we'll see what happens. Grenzo, gonna swing into the Boros deck. Yep. Exiles the top card. It's a Soul Ring, that's what you're hoping on. Zach Ryan's gonna speed up a little. Oh, into a Thran Dynamo. Okay, all the mana ramp. He is really going now. That will unfortunately flip our creature back over, which I don't love. Yep, we get flipped again. Ardenn coming in. Yep. Opponent does have a Sigarda's Aid and a Commander's Plate in play. Both pretty good cards. Although, with Sigarda's Aid, you don't really need to run Sigarda's Aid in an Ardenn deck. You can free this deck slot up and run something else there. That's what I personally would do, but in general, Sigarda's Aid is decent for a lot of decks, but putting flash on your equipment isn't that big of a deal with Sigarda's Aid. Like, most of the time with equipment, you're just going to main phase it anyway, so. I think opponent messed up the clicking, as the Commander's Plate is not on the Ardenn. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for the Wolf Caller's Howl right here. We're back on the front side with Duskwatch Recruiter, which wasn't really where I wanted to be, but we'll get this into play. Hopefully we'll be getting some wolves on our next turn. Think about that Oracle of Moldiah at some point as well. And then we'll play the Spine Rock Knoll. Arlen Cord is a pretty cool card. Put that under there. We missed the Druid class, though. I did want that one. I think I'm going to stay back just because of Grenzo. They probably won't attack us if we're leaving a blocker back here, so. Old Stickfingers coming in. We'll take a look at our opponent's commanders. So that's Zombie Caller 42 piloting Old Stickfingers. X green-black for a 0/0. X is 3 in this case. When you cast a spell, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way into your graveyard, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Old Stickfingers' power and toughness are equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Interesting. Graveyard matters type commander. I like that it doesn't seem like it's completely busted in the same way that, like, Marin is. It's cool, it's decent, but it's not insane, so... Opponent plays a Dowsing Dagger and brings 2 plant tokens into play. Gives into Zombie Caller, yep. In the middle, we do have Zach Ryan piloting Grenzo Havoc Razor. We've seen this one on the channel a little bit before, and I think I actually played this deck for him one time. So be sure to check that video out. And Goad is a super nasty ability. People are finally starting to understand that a little bit more now with some of the, like, somewhat more recent cards, like Marisi is a big one that is just a headache, and there's been a few other instances of Goad and things very similar to Goad, and you're like, wow, I have no agency over my creatures. This sucks. Also, Goad with a Voltron deck over here is also a really terrible time. Our deck probably doesn't have, like, the utility to really deal with that. He does hit with a Grenzo and then flips into the Lost Veil. He has so much mana ramp. He casts an Agitator Ant. At the beginning of your end step, each player may put 2 +1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Goad that creature. Academy Raider. Intimidate. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. Okay, that's not the end of the world. Do we want to get bigger? You know, we may just be on Blasphemous Act here pretty soon. No, I don't really want to be goaded. Bruse Tarl coming in. Double strike on Ardenn. Ardenn trigger. Appears to have missed the trigger again. They're going to swing at us. This is going to hurt. Or do we just block and board wipe? Yeah, I think we block and board wipe. Well, maybe not. Maybe we still block, though. 8 is a lot. I guess we're taking. I don't know that there's a ton of life gain in this deck. I had a Luxodon Warhammer, but I cut it at the last second to get down to 100. Brings it back to our turn. There's the Wolf Caller's Howl trigger. Should get 2 wolves right here. Pretty excited about it. Soul's Majesty is a card that I forgot to cut from the deck. Oops. But would be pretty good with the Sage of Ancient Lore. Play the castle. Actually, I think we should Blasphemous Act. The Goad and the Voltron is very scary to me. There isn't a ton of removal in this deck, so, like, using some doesn't feel the best, but... How much is it? Yeah, it's the minimum. Okay, yeah, since it's the minimum, Blasphemous Act. Hey, everything getting blown up. Slow down the early aggression. 3 aggro decks at the table, basically, so... You know, get rid of the early aggression here. Then we'll play the Oracle of Moldiah. Mana Crypt on top. Play the castle. No additional land plays. Pass like that. We should have a couple chances next turn to look at a few cards off the top and potentially play both lands that way. If you can play 2 lands a turn with this thing for a couple turns, you're going to be really far ahead of your opponents. Solemn Simulacrum for opponent. Opponent will get a land. Gonna activate Command Beacon, putting their commander from their hand into the command zone. Interesting. Trying to avoid the commander tax, I guess. What's this thing do on the backside? Vigilance Trample. Power and toughness are equal to the total number of cards in all players' hands. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a Perforos. Those are scary. Red creatures have haste? No, other creatures have haste. Sneak attack for red creatures. Grenzo coming back. Yep, it has haste. Grenzo over to the Boros player. Our final opponent, by the way, is Vieltal, piloting Ardenn Intrepid Archaeologist with Bruse Tarl Boorish Herder, and it looks like they're doing a Voltron thing today. We see a Commander's Plate, we see Sigarda's Aid. They did have to mulligan down to 6, I think, so not exactly where you want to be, but this is a very powerful combination. Exiles a Batterskull off the top with Grenzo. Luckily, they don't have the mana to play it. It's fairly nasty equipment, though. Makes your stuff huge. Few things I need to get into the deck. I need to get a little more recursion into the deck. This Duskwatch Recruiter is probably lost to us. Unless opponents play something real wild. Here's a Burnish chart. Doesn't have the mana to crack it, though. But that'll get their mana going. You can also block the Grenzo with it. Well, I guess not till next turn. Brings it back to our turn. Wolf Caller's Howl. We'll get 1 this time. Stomp Ground off the top. Love it. Play it untapped. And a Scorned Villager. Play the Mana Crypt. Let's try the Sage of Ancient Lore right here and see if we can get to another land off the top. It comes in. We draw a card. There's the land off the top. Got it. Nice. We have ramped. Ooh, a Kessig Wolfrun, although we will end up drawing the Kessig Wolfrun, which is not the most ideal, but guess we'll have to be okay with it. Now's a good time to cast our commander. We could cast the Scorned Villager, or we can try to leave up this Spine Rock Knoll. Thinking about trying to leave up the Spine Rock Knoll. Since we're never going to block with Oracle of Moldiah. No, he could. If we attack with Oracle of Moldiah, he could Perforos something in and then block the Oracle. So as much as I want to do that, that's not a great attack. A lot of ways for that to go wrong. When does this happen? At the beginning of our upkeep, we need to control 3 wolves. If our board holds, we will control 3, and we'll probably get a 4th with this Wolfcaller's Howl. Ashnod's Altar is a magic card. What does Ardenn do? One creature gets +2/+2 Vigilance and Haste, or create a token. How do you transform it? I don't remember how you transform this. Masked Vandal coming in. Enters battlefield, exile a creature card from your graveyard. If you do, exile target artifact or enchantment an opponent controls. They're going to exile the Wolfcaller's Howl. Yeah, that's annoying. I like this. Wanted to use this. At least we got one with it. Couple that got blown away earlier. This is the type of thing, if it just keeps sitting there, like, you just slowly get creatures all game, and 2/2s are reasonable. 1/1s are generally good for, like, feeding the Skullclamp and blocking, and not much else, unless you pump them up one way or another, or just have a lot of them. The difference in board impact between a couple 2/2s and a couple 1/1s is pretty sizable. It is day currently. That's a mob rule. It's never great. 3 or less is our board. Let's see who's getting it. Oh, he might crack the Burnished Heart on him, too. That's all the creatures on board, actually. Yeah, Mob Rule is incredibly powerful. Probably a card that needs to go into this deck because it's also really good at removing blockers, and when you have kind of like a go-wide tribal deck like this, removing blockers is important. Zach Ryan has a Hearth and Home on top of his library. We'll want to keep that in mind. Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff. We just need him to do 7 to someone else so we can get our Arlen cord. Lots of them coming our way. Well, that's not ideal. Yeah, he's just going to hit us really hard. Okay. I guess that's how we're going to play it. We're going to take a shot here. I think he's also going to draw a bunch of cards, too. Yep. A lot of Grenzo triggers. 4 Tovolar triggers. Jesus. And they're going to exile a lot of cards off the top of people's libraries. Yep. And they barely touched opponents, so we go down to 14. Ouch. Oh, I got our Kindred Summons. No. No. Oh, like that card. Also, Berserker's Onslaught. Warmonger or Hellkite. Pretty nasty. Cracks the Burnished Heart. Yeah, that sucks. That sucks so much. That mob rule. Very nasty. Shuffle's showing Skyfire Phoenix on top. I mean, if no one plays a board wipe, we can hit him back pretty hard. Because these are going to flip, and this one will be huge. There's a Felwar Stone. That's fine. We get our stuff back. Fantastic. Something happened. Oh, right. We got a bunch of things exiled. We have a land on top. We lost Kessig Wolfrun, though. I like Kessig Wolfrun. It was a cool card. Return to Dust on Zach's mana. Love it. Nice. Get rid of that. He could have got the Perforos, though. I would have gone for the Perforos in there at some point, just because that's really hard to deal with. The other two get cleaned up by normal artifact enchantment removal, but yeah, I think this turn's going to be pretty silly. Pretty silly. Brings it back to our turn. Mana Crypt, Tovolar trigger. It's becoming night. Transform our stuff. Transform this guy. What side are we on? I think we're on the correct side right here. Yeah, this has 17 power. We are going to hit Zach back really hard. Mana Crypt flip. Would like to win this. We did. Nice. Staying at 14. Nightpack Ambusher is on top. It's an anthem for our werewolves. Play the Cinderglade. Actually, before we do that, play the Soul's Majesty on our big thing. Won't need that. Hope this sticks. He's going to Chaos Warp it. What's this do? Nothing that helps us that much. It's annoying. It's annoying. Fizzles our card draw. Also annoyed about that. Everything at Zach Ryan. Big turn thwarted. We still get to draw a couple, though. Play the Cinderglade. What's this do? We can make a 2/2. Let's get Arlen Cord. I think I'm on Make a Wolf and Transform. Yeah, I like the backside, I think. I would like to get the Kodama's Reach. Actually, yeah, I think we can. Forest, Mountain. Mountain into play tapped. Forest to the hand, play the Forest. And then we can either Moonlight Hunt or Scorned Villager as a blocker. Rage Reflections on top, that'll be good. We'll play the Scorned Villager. Just get another blocker in. And pass like that. I think we got 4 lands into play that turn. Maybe 3. Cultivate, tap land, and then I think 2 from the Oracle. That sounds right. 3 lands is a lot to get in a turn. Old Stickfingers coming back. Mills a few more. It's a 12/12. Oh my. It's giant. Bunch of things in their graveyard. Sir Conrad and Shield Ritter in their graveyard. Eternal Witness in the graveyard. World Shaper, those are all cards you don't want in the graveyard. Hopefully they don't find a way to pull them out, because that'll be real bad if they do. That's a Hearth and Home. Protection from our deck. Not ideal. There's a couple red-only werewolves in the deck. Ideally would find one to block. The nice thing is that the sword puts him into a weird spot where he can either attack the planeswalker or attack us, and you're always kind of giving something up when you have to make that choice. We'll see how they want to play that. What are they more scared of? Although I guess the creature has pro-green now, which gets them past the Arlen cord. Yeah, they're just going to swing into our face. Awesome. We are going to need to kill the table very quickly as our life total is now very low. Hearth and Home and Grenzo trigger. Probably going to go with the Goad. Unless they really want the Rage Reflection. They could take the Rage Reflection. Yeah, they take the Rage Reflection. That's unfortunate. That was going to be a big part of our damage. I'm not going to be able to hit nearly as hard now. Yeah, he's really... Grenzo is so disruptive. Such a disruptive commander. Wild Growth on top is not exactly what we needed. Might loot, honestly. Well, maybe not. We'll see. That's a Blasphemous Act. Everything getting blown up. Don't love it. Don't love it at all. Tovolar to the command zone. Taurine Mauler into play. Gross. Sword onto it. Can't Moonlight Hunt it. We lost our Oracle of Moldiah. Don't love that. Ardenn coming into play. We're in kind of a bad spot now. All of our creatures were in play. Nope, looks like they messed up that trigger again. Nope, there they go. Finally got it this time. Commander's Plate onto Ardenn. Brings it back to our turn. Let's go. Heads. Lost the flip. Awesome. Yeah, just don't need a Wild Growth that much. Activate Gaia Reach Sanitarium into a mountain. Discard the Wild Growth. Opponent discards their Phoenix. Yep. Play the mountain. Cast our commander. Taurine Mauler gets bigger. Yep. Guess we just shoot Zach Ryan in the face. Transform our Planeswalker back to the other side. Pass like that. Hope zombies got something. Otherwise, we just die to a Taurine Mauler. He's a Genesis in the graveyard. There's a Sir Conrad. Sir Conrad is incredibly bad for us. They return it to their hand. Luckily, don't have the mana for it yet. Signet, pumping up the Mauler. Mauler is very lethal on us. Cracks the landscape. Grenzo coming back. Phoenix will return to their hand. Oh, nope. Phoenix goes straight to the battlefield. Yep, it's not ideal. Perforos becomes a creature. Lovely. Yeah, we're probably dying here. Gonna take down our Planeswalker. I might protect that. We probably need to let the Planeswalker go in order to shoot Grenzo, because I don't want this being goaded. Opponent's gonna Kazul's Fury, our commander. Awesome. Awesome. They sacrifice the Phoenix to do... Oh, how much damage is that? I think we can save it with this Howlpack Resurgence. Let's try it. The Mauler keeps getting bigger. All these things on the stack, so gonna hurt opponent a little bit more. Yeah, he survives at 3 damage. Nice. Got him with the Howlpack Resurgence. Grenzo goes down. And we're gonna get to keep our Planeswalker too, because he sacrificed the Phoenix to do it. Hearth and Home trigger. There's a Fire and Ice. It's not the best. Mauler gets bigger. Fire and Ice will probably kill our Arlen cord. Free equip from the Sigarda's Aid. Rayav. Ooh, that's double strike. Now you're starting to talk about some pretty big hits. Mauler still getting bigger. Sending it over to Zach Ryan. Rayav gonna give it double strike. Yeah, let's see where they want to put those sword triggers. I would like to keep our Arlen. First one to his face. Love it. Second one to his face. Also love it. He goes down to 11. We have 6 damage currently. Brings back to our turn. Mana Crypt. Need to win these. Tails? Lost it. Ugh. Now we just die to Fire and Ice hits. Unless you draw a Subterranean Tremors, of course. Okay. Okay. Probably not big enough to kill the Mauler, though. The Mauler will lose 2 power. Or toughness, rather. Okay, that's something to think about. Ardenn has protection... No, the protection from red... Ooh, how does that work? I think the order matters here. X damage, then destroy. So, Ardenn will survive, but it'll blow up the Fire and Ice. That's something. That being the case, I think we'll go Vigilance and Haste on our commander. Oh, we do get an 8/8. That is helpful. Oh, I guess we could have swung with the 8/8. Oh, yeah, we could have swung with the 8/8. Going for the card draw, though, and the card draw here is not a bad idea either. So, let's keep poking Zach. He's got more stuff. He's gonna flash in something with Perforos. Was looking to draw this card. Oh, did he misclick? Oh, maybe it's an artifact or something. Maybe it's not a legal target. We hit. We draw a card. He goes down to 5. It's a land. How much mana can we pump into this thing? We can go X14. This will get shot, go down to 9, and then it'll go up to 10 as we cast something. So 14 may be excessive, so I think we can go... there's X10, but if someone has tricks, if someone casts like a protection spell or something, just go all the way. This will also blow up our Mana Crypt, which is actually a really good thing. I never get to run Subterranean Tremors because I never play Gruul decks, and you can almost only run it in Gruul decks. Red plus anything else, you probably need a lot of artifacts. Teamer's fine too, but... Commander back to the command zone. We get an 8/8. Artifacts get blown up. Ardenn's still in play, but the scary equipments are gone. They're down to 2 cards in hand. I'm going to hold this mountain, just so we can loot it next turn to the Gaia Reach. Genesis trigger. Meanwhile, he's just going to drop a Sir Conrad over there and kill us. Opponent's going to get back old Stickfingers with Genesis. Yeah, Genesis, it's a powerful card. People don't run it as much as they used to, but it's still really good in the right deck. Yeah, there's Sir Conrad. There is Sir Conrad. Forever Young. Put any number of creature cards. Yep, and there's 20 Sir Conrad triggers. Awesome. So much fun. Sir Conrad, such a busted card. I've really come around that, like, any card that says do damage to each opponent is, like, probably a little too good. Sir Conrad, Perforos, what's that green one? Hydra Omnivore, probably, like, the least scary of the bunch just because it's a big dumb creature, but doesn't come down quite as early as the others. Yeah, whenever you're doing damage to each opponent, it's just not a great time. So down we go. Down Zach goes. We just got into a bad spot, that mob rule. That mob rule got us for what, like 25 damage probably? And then we ate a bunch of removal on top of that. There was a board wipe, and I think there was like 1 or 2 pieces of spot removal in there, and it's not great. Realistically, I think we saw a stronger start than I was really expecting out of Grenzo. They hit that Soul Ring off the Boros deck, and that just sped them up so much. They went Soul Ring into the Thran Dynamo all right on that turn, which I think it was only turn 3, I think, when that happened. So, even slowing down that Thran Dynamo 1 turn is a big deal in that early game. And, that mob rule is probably a turn slower. Oh, the Chaos Warp on our big thing, because we had the big thing to try and swing away at Zach. Bruse Tarl back into play. Targets the Ardenn. No equipments, though. Yeah, now the hill they gotta climb is Sir Conrad with old Stickfingers that just can put a lot of things into their graveyard. It's in their command zone currently. I don't know what the commander tax is. Eternal Witness, get something nasty back. Forever Young, do it again. Oh, all the creatures are on top of their deck. Okay, yeah. That won't work exactly the same. Get it back. Dreadhound. Comes in, mills 3 cards, yep. And is a duplicate of the Sir Conrad effect. So opponent's in trouble here. They probably need a lifelink equipment more than anything. Well, I guess with Bruse. Yeah, with Bruse can gain some life back, but they go down to 10. They need something big that they can punch through right now. Feast and Famine would be good. Luxodon Warhammer would be good. They need to gain some life back. They need to get damage in. From where things are right now, they just don't want to go very long. There's a fighter class. Ooh, that can search for an equipment. Get the one you want. What do you go for right here? I personally would probably get a Feast and Famine. Because then you play it free equips. You attack with Bruse. They can't block that. You untap. They discard 2 cards, although the discarding could be an issue. I guess Bruse gains life back, so yeah, that's a thing. What are your other options? What do they go for? Colossus Hammer. They don't have Trample, though, but that does give them a lot of life back. They can free equip that, and I think they're going to go to the Ardenn with it. It's a 12/12. I think I would have put it on... Oh, okay. There's a Hammer of Nazan, all the free equips. Sigarda's Aid. I would put that on Bruse so you can attack with Bruse and it stays alive. No, they're not doing it that way. Yeah, that's not how I would do it. I guess they have 2 chances. I would have went about that way different. I don't think Colossus Hammer is the card that I'm going for right there. You really want the evasion. Because now, they can attack, but, I guess it's commander damage, so there's that. But, they just block with an Eternal Witness, and it's like nothing ever happened. And then you're at the mercy of having to deal with Sir Conrad. Bruse Tarl trigger. They attack with both, but they'll likely lose the Bruse Tarl right here. Yeah, they're going to double strike this one. So yeah, you put the hammer on Bruse, and then you can attack, and it won't die. Yep. Blocks. Let's the Bruse go. They can just block and kill that. And I think Zombie can just win it right here. Although, they're up to 22. 22 is a lot. Although, double triggers. So, yeah, you only need 11. Yeah, given that hand, I think you go Feast and Famine, Hammer of Nazan. Or Luxodon Warhammer, Hammer of Nazan. Either way is fine right there. And then Hammer onto Bruse Tarl. Final Parting. Yep, that's a tutor. There's 4 triggers. Oh, I think they put an Eldrazi in and shuffled their graveyard. Or something like that. It was a Gaia's Blessing. There's one you don't see much of anymore. Used to be played a lot back in the day, though. Nyx Lotus. Boros deck, gonna get another crack at it. Need to make a big play right here. It's still the evasion they're missing, because they can still just block. Oh, you know what they could have done too? With Sigarda's Aid in play, you could get Sunforger. You can have it come in with Sigarda's Aid, activate it, then the hammer trigger will reattach it because both triggers go on the stack. And then, I mean, they could have gotten 3 Sunforger activations if they're built for that. Yeah, they don't have the evasion. He goes up to 30 life. They do block 1. They trade the Bruse with the Conrad. That's reasonably difficult to kill someone from 30. Genesis Wave X8. Seems good. What we get? We got lands, Palace Siege, Signet. Only 1 creature, Rhizome Lurcher. Enters the battlefield with a number of +1/+1 counters equal to the number of creature cards in your graveyard. Not very many, because they shuffled their graveyard back in. Send it over the 6/6, yep. There is an Underrealm Lich. Never mind. There's a Fiend Artisan. Pretty nasty. Sacrifice another creature. Search your library for a creature card with mana value X or less. Put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle. Activate as a sorcery. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cleansing Nova. Destroy all creatures. Oh, theirs is indestructible. Oh my. That's a play. That's a play. They don't have any Ardenn damage on them, though. Pure Steel Paladin is a card. Man, why aren't we playing Boros Equipment? See all these cards. I want to play all these cards. I haven't been playing that much Boros Equipment lately, to be completely honest. Been messing around with some of the other stuff. I have, in paper, I've been playing General Ferris for Okirik quite a bit. More of a go-wide deck. Been playing my Aurelia Exemplar, Red Creatures I Want to Play Tribal, which is also a go-wide deck. Yeah, it's kind of a go-wide, go-tall with, like, Trample and Red Creatures from Aurelia, but... yeah, I haven't been playing the really hard Voltron stuff as of late. I did switch my Aurelia Voltron over to Brunor for the time being, and Brunor is very strong. Very, very strong. Doesn't have the, like, same late game power, though. Like, it's still... Its problem is always that, like, you're killing one opponent at a time, so you really need to find that extra combat. Aurelia takes care of that for you, but her early game isn't nearly as explosive. Conrad, coming back. Yep. I think that was off the Genesis, probably. No, I didn't see. I don't know how they got it back. Oh, maybe it was in their library? Ah, who knows? I missed it. Old Stickfingers, X8. 8 Conrad triggers. If they find an artifact, they can crack Inventor's Fair. Oh, they have a Palace Siege. That's probably how they got the Conrad back. Yeah, they're on cons. Yep, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, if they had that third land, or if they had that third artifact for Inventor's Fair, they could win. You get Feast and Famine, equip it, and they can't block. No attacks. I mean, they still should have attacked. Although, I guess they can block the 12/12. I guess that's a thing. But in all likelihood, I think they probably just died to Conrad. Zombie gets a thing back. I assume it's some sort of milling. It's probably the Conrad duplicate. No, that's the Dreadhound. That's right there. Panharmonicon. Lotleth Giant. Just 1 damage target opponent for each creature card in your graveyard. How many are there? Down they go! Exactly 11. So, Zombie getting there with this old Stickfingers deck. Kind of interesting. But switching back to our deck. So, here's the deck list. It could have like a touch more removal. The gamble that I took, and it kind of bit us a little bit, is that I don't have a ton of card draw in the deck because I'm expecting to draw with Tovolar. And Tovolar got blown up 2 or 3 times, so we did not draw that many cards with it. And so we did run out of cards at one point. We did have a lot of mana too, so we were able to cast a lot of things. But that was a gamble that I chose to take. Perhaps I could add 1 or 2 more card draw cards back in, but the deck could probably also use like maybe 2 more pieces of removal. Cheating a little bit there, but yeah, the wolves are pretty interesting. I had a lot of enchantments in this deck. I had to pare it down. So we've got Sunbirds, because I really like Sunbirds. Cast a creature, get 2. Howl of the Night Pack is a fun one. Kindred Summons can also get a bunch of creatures into play, but big one that I haven't tried yet is Unnatural Growth. Seems like it could be really interesting. So double the power and toughness of each creature you control during your turn. Oh no, at the beginning of each combat. Kind of ridiculous. Molten Echoes, also very good. So... But yeah, it was a cool little deck. We got to see pieces of it, but we had to deal with a highly aggressive red deck, and that Soul Ring set them up so well, put them several turns ahead, and they just had more mana than everyone, and it was hard to catch up to that. And the problem is that we lost all of our life, which is a big resource, and not a lot of life gain in the deck, so kind of hard to get it back. Maybe that Luxodon Warhammer would have been good, but anyway, what can you do? Hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. Thank you for watching. Help support me and save 15% on singles by using the promo code REPLAY at mothershipaTX.com. Commander Replay t-shirts, available in orange and colors beside orange.